behaving like a thief, and you stole the crown. Your lies keep piling up, and we watch them weigh you down. The very agree that you stole, they run the whole fucking show. But we are not afraid, and we will not let go. The bigots rise, and you fan the flames. You build an empire of fear and pain. You're hand in hand with the billionaire scum, selling out this country while you play dumb. Burn it all down! Tear the walls apart! We will not bow! We will not lose heart! We will put an end to the hate! We will put an end to your lies! We will stand side by side! And we will You think these cages are built for the poor and for the weak, for the families torn apart while you laugh and tweet? Look at the puppets dance to the corporate sound, but we are still here and we will stand our ground! There's blood on your hands! We have seen the truth erased! You put the prophets first! Instead of the people you've displaced. History is watching, and it won't soon forget. It may not be you this time, but you can soon be next. Burn it all down, tear the walls apart. We will not bow, we will not lose heart. We will put an end to the hate. We will put an end to your lies. We will stand side by side, and we will rise! Rise! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Lies on the screen from the deadline machine! Burn it all down! They killed the American dream! Go blame an escalator, a tower built on decay. Smiling like a tyrant while the world fades away. Fear and hate is the name of your game. Divide the people and shift all the blame. The truth is dead, you sold them for fame. History won't forget your name. Fake empire, built on greed. Fascist clown, watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! Broken to cases, you've got blood on your hands! Worship the dollar while you ignore our demands! We storm the gates! Our rage is fueled by your lies! We will sit back and watch as your empire crumbles and dies! Fear and hate is the name of your game! Divide the people and shift all the blame! The truth is dead, you sold them for fame! History won't forget! Nay, nay! Fake empire! Built on greed! Fascist clown! Watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! You build walls! We break them down! You spread lies! We burn understand. You breathe fear, we fight back. Hardcore, hard counterattack. Fake empire going down. No more chains for the crowd. Justice call. Hear the sound. Rise up now and stand your ground. All out. Promises right. Promises right. On a gilded stage, dividing the people, fueling the rage. Walls built high, but compassion's low. Truth buried deep beneath the show. No more lies! No more deceit! We will bow down! We will retreat! Voices loud! We stand as one! The fight's not over! It's just begun! It's just begun! Families torn at the borderline. Justice denied, time after time. Prophet's soul on the planet burns. When will we learn? When will we learn? No more lies, no more deceit. We will bow down, we will retreat. Voices loud, we stand as one. The fight's not over. It's just begun! It's just begun! It's just begun! Resist the power and break the chain! Rise above all this hate and this pain! Together we're strong, we won't divide. In our unity we will find our pride. The fight's not over. It's just begun. The fight's not over. It's just begun. The fight's not over! It's just begun! The fight's not over! It's just begun! The fight's not over! Whispers turn to battle cries. The truth is dead, been fed to lies. They sell us lies in the name of peace. What justice rots beneath the leash. They write the laws just to serve the few. We bleed beneath the red, white, and blue. But freedom's fire still burns inside, where truth and treason often collide. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. No peace without the will fight, no dawn without a rebel night. The ballot's a joke and the court's offline, and American justice lags a decade behind. So strike the drum and light the flame. Each beating soul will rise again. The people's wrath is a sacred flood. The soil drains deep the martyr's blood. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. Not for glory, not for gold, but for the stories that were never told. For every voice that they tried to drown, we will plant the flag and hold our ground. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't resist. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must grow with the blood that only the brave know. And if we should fall, then we fall as one beneath the rising blood-red sun. The tyrants will fall and the people will rise, because freedom never truly dies. They build their towers in the sky, hoarding wealth while the workers die. Billionaires with blood-stained hands, trampling lives to expand their brand. They say they earned it, they say it's fair, but they only take while we despair. Their pockets are fat and their hearts are cold. Working ourselves to death makes them more bold. But now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see our lives and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. The system is rigged, it's all just a game. The rich pull the strings, the poor take the blame. Wealth hoarders live in mansions, the people live in chains. The billionaires don't care, they cash it on our pay. Luxury is a cage that's been built on the backs of the common workers that they keep under attack. But we the people, we've had it rough. Their empire is fragile, we've had enough. And now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see our lives and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you only got harm. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. No more silence, no more living in fear, no more being divided, no more broken man's tears. Don't try to keep us down. You are not our king. In every city and every town, let motherfucking freedom ring. Because the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see your lies and we know the deal. You hoard your wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. We signed up to fight for freedom, not to be the boots on the necks of Americans. You used us, you lied to us, and now we're coming to square the account. Get fucked and die mad about it! Admin 10360, bitch! We wear the scars, we bear the pain. We watched our friends die in blood and blade. You said that we fought for liberty, but we came home to fight hypocrisy. You turned a rifle around our peace. You crushed dissent, you unleashed police. You sent us in just to guard your throne. You turned the streets into a combat zone. Not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true, we are the same. You armored up and sent the troops to beat down kids and protest groups to guard the banks, protect the suits so that they can't keep us under their boots. You wave the flag like it's a threat, but we remember every single bet that you left to rot, alone and discarded, while CEOs got golden parachute parties. One walks alone, not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true, we are the same. To every citizen still asleep, wake the fuck up! To my fellow veterans, remember your oath! Our freedom is dying right beneath our eyes! The people in charge tell us nothing but lies. The common people starve while billionaires see, and we're the ones tossed out in the street. Let's eat the rich, let's make them pay their share. Paying their taxes is a burden they can bear. Make billionaires right again! Not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one truth. We are the same. No one walks alone. Not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one truth. We are the same. No one walks alone. I got something for you. Hang on to your asses. Golden towers, velvet ropes, behind the mask, a vulture chokes, power suits and dirty hands, wag the dog in desert sands, victims screaming into voids while kings play gods with broken toys, airbrush lies on every screen. What the hell does justice mean? Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free, blood on the floor, hurt you in chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? You built your throne on broken laws. Now you're scared, you know what you saw. Silence bought with piles of cash. Erase the files, burn the trash. Martial law for damage control. Draft the bar to hide your soul. Wanna light the world on fire just to dodge the light trip wire. History is a loaded gun. Tick, 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 you better run. Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free. Blood on the floor, hurt you in chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? Your kingdom shakes with every name. You'll kill us all to dodge the blame. This ain't conspiracy, it's confession. Hidden in plain sight, full suppression. You laugh while the system bleeds, but the streets remember what you need. Truth, there's a crime. You just spare the time. When the lights come my head, your ass is mine. Locked room, VIP. No more secrets, no more kings. Dragged across your marble floor. Truth is kicking down your door. I said I'm young and believe the vow. Stars and stripes, I wear them now. Trained to fight and trained to lead. Wore the flag like it was all I need. I went to war, that was my goal. Buried brothers filling bullet holes. Did what I had to cause that was the cost. I came home proud but broken and lost. The other party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. They wrapped their lives in red, white, blue, but the blood on my hands was never for you. It was never for you. They said freedom, they said truth, but fed me hate since I was a youth. Republican dreams, conservative pride, just uniforms for the greed they hide. Where were they when the VA failed? When my friends came home and we all derailed? Where were they when we screamed in pain? Too busy chasing power and gain. All the party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. You bring support to wave your flags while you turn your backs on body bags. Don't turn your back on the fallen. You say that I betrayed you. I bled for this country. What did you ever do? You cheered for war. Then you ran from the wounded. I see who the traitors really are now! I gave my all, you gave me lies. Soldiers die while your empire thrives. Call me woke, call me lost. You never paid the fucking cost. And the party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. I fight again, not for your pride, but for every soul you left behind. The party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. Justice ain't red, justice ain't blue. It's the truth, and it's coming for you!
Now it's time for the throw punch! Oh, I botched the intro again. There we go. Bam. All right.
Oh, do I need
Now
headphones
it
for
should be
this?
good to go.
Did I mess up?
I don't know. Do you?
I've been doing a lot of interviews without headphones. Hopefully that holds up.
I guess it really depends on how loud you've got your sound and whether or not that's going to bleed into your mic.
Yeah. If you're not hearing feedback, we're probably good.
I don't hear feedback, but the fam of Liberty that watches this, if there are any audio imperfections, they will absolutely let us know. Ask me how I know.
Should I go grab them real quick? They're out of the room.
It's entirely up to you. If you think it might be an issue, go right ahead. I will entertain people with some sweet kazoo music.
Love it. Okay, be right back.
All right, that's all I got for today. All right, so whilst she is away getting her headphones, I am admin Tim or Big Sarge from Sons of Liberty. None of my other admins are on right now. I think we'll be joined later by Matt and Aaron, depending. I think a couple of them are stuck in traffic. So it should be me and Sarah. And I'll let our guest introduce herself when she's back, of course. Obviously, she can't introduce herself when she's not here. So
Okay, we're back. Okay, sound
Yep.
headphones.
We're back. We have headphones.
Headphones are plugged in.
Somebody ordered Super Bowl coffee, so enjoy. Oh, Raina. Yeah, I think that's the same person that I chatted with on Etsy about getting whole beans. We now have whole beans. So cool beans.
Very good. All right. How do we want to start this thing off? You said something about introducing
How would you like to start it off?
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
I mean, I can introduce you, but I feel like you would know better than anybody else.
Sure, yeah. I'll introduce me, you introduce you, we'll get into it. Hi, I'm Sarah Tabor. I'm a small farmer in Fayetteville, North Carolina, joining you from beautiful, sunny Fayetteville, North Carolina. Having a good time over here. I ran for commissioner.
Down the road.
I ran for commissioner of agriculture for North Carolina in 2024.
Really?
Yeah, it was a red wave year, and we managed to keep it the same as it was in 2020, which is pretty good. So yeah, ran for a tough seat, got an inside look at the political process, definitely learned some stuff there. I think the big thing we're all worried about right now is just ICE going on into various cities and doing their thing. There's definitely a lot to say about how they took a little swing through North Carolina and then bounced pretty quick afterwards. Probably, honestly, mostly because it's a purple state. I don't want to be like, wow, Minnesota's bungling this. It's a very different political situation. We can't take all the credit for that. But that's just something that's on our mind right now. I work in agriculture. I'm working with a Train Veterans to Farm group that's based here in the local area. So we can definitely talk about that as well. Kind of a cool swords into plowshares situation. So like ICE and getting new people into agriculture are the two big things on my mind at the moment. And you guys are doing your thing. So
I don't know what that thing is yet. We just kind of like wing it.
Yeah.
It's like a dozen people winging it and hoping that something sticks. So
yeah,
I don't know how we've managed to be this successful this far. I don't have a secret. There's no formula. I literally just make shit up as I go along, and I presume that the other admins do as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's life, that's how it goes a lot of the time is, I might not know where we're going with this, but I know we're going to get there together.
Yeah. Where are we going? Why are we in this handbasket?
Yeah. Make the road while you're driving. No big deal.
So you're right down the road in Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the Veterans to Farm thing that you were talking?
It's Veterans Farm, and if you're not talking about where you are, that's okay. But if you are telling people where you are located in North Carolina? Like undisclosed location. Nice. I love undisclosed location. It's real nice out there.
I've been outed several times to where I actually am. I used to be in Atlanta, and then I moved.
Yeah.
um, and I
Atlanta's
wasn't shy
fun.
about saying Atlanta because Atlanta's fucking huge. Atlanta could be like anywhere in Georgia except North Georgia or South Georgia. You could be down in Macon and be like, "Ah, yeah, I'm near Atlanta."
Yeah.
But where
Amazing.
I am now, like I get death threats, and I don't take any of them seriously because I'm fucking insane, I guess. But you know,
Well, it's a lot of bark and not a lot of bite. It's
yeah, but it just takes one person, one
mhm.
time, and
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, ICE knows where I live, so or at least the Secret Service or whoever pulled security at Rocky Mount. I don't know,
oh,
whoever that was.
yeah. No, the really fun and cool thing about agriculture is, and especially folks who've worked in food safety, it was totally normal to be getting death threats just because you're doing food safety inspections, like way before it went mainstream. And so that's just a thing you kind of have to be like, whatever about. Um, and if you work with farmers, and especially if you're doing like regulatory stuff, like you're just going to get guns pulled on you. You're going to have clients try to kill you. It's just part of the job. And I hate that it's true, but you just kind of like, yeah, you know. Um, and I think it says a lot that it definitely says a lot that that's just considered part of the job. We don't need to dig into that, but it's a thing that a lot of professions have had to come to terms with, like way before it like went mainstream. So that's fun. No, it's like a yeah.
I'm still trying to get past the like. Okay, so admittedly, I don't know a whole lot about local and state politics beyond like governor, lieutenant governor,
Mhm.
state attorney general, and like maybe one or two other things. So
Oh, that's normal. Yeah.
when I say this, I need it to be explicitly understood that I'm a fucking idiot. So this doesn't sound like a huge job. Like it's not like you're not, again, this is my perception.
Mhm.
Like you're not building cities and shit here. It's food safety, which is important. I acknowledge, but this isn't like, you know, the wheeling and dealing. Like you're not going to get fabulously wealthy if you abuse this position.
Not sure
I
about
just
that.
getting death threats from,
Yeah.
if anybody's going to carry out a death threat, it's probably going to be a farmer because they probably have like shotguns and rifles and, you know, back 40 with some hogs somewhere where they can just let the hogs take care of them.
Yeah. It's like, nice to meet you. Let's talk death threats. No, so so food safety, yeah, like I was gonna say, commissioner of agriculture, all indications are you can make quite a bit of money being corrupt in that position. That's a hole we can dive
Really,
down later. But food safety inspections, like not
write
really.
this down.
Yeah, and if you give somebody a good grade on a food safety inspection that they shouldn't have gotten, you're going to go to jail together. You're going to be cellmates. I'm not putting on the orange pajamas for anybody. Like that's and it's
Yeah.
you know, farmers are kind of used to being treated with kid gloves when it comes to regulatory stuff because they're like, but what if you do? And so what I was doing was not a government food safety inspection; it was a commercial food safety inspection. So if I'm a grocery store, I don't want to buy berries with shit on them, and so I say, hey, if you want to sell to me, you've got to get a food safety audit. It's just a private commercial inspection. It's a lot more like an organic certification. Like, so I'm the farmer. I call up a company that does these certifications and I say, hey, send somebody out. I was the person they send out. And so you get to know a lot about agriculture really quickly. You're going to a lot of places looking way under the hood, getting way up in people's business. And like the vast majority of the time it was fine, but every once in a while it wasn't. Um, but yeah, in a lot of cases, the state level food safety inspections and federal ones are just number one, there's no budget for it, and so they don't get seen very often. Like once every few years. And then number two, no one who's running for elected office wants mad farmers getting on TV going, "Oh, they hate family farms," And so there's not a lot of teeth, even if they're fully funded. There's not a lot of teeth on these state level inspections. And so there are a couple facilities where I was like, okay, well, there's this, that, and the other thing, like would need to be fixed before you can finalize an inspection and get that certificate. And they'll go, what do you mean? We just got flying colors from the state. And I'm like, there's a hole in your roof? Straight down to the food handling area. What do you mean flying colors? We need to back up. So it's a really interesting inside look at the food system. And People always ask me, is there something that you just won't eat anymore? And I'm like, no, I think I just learned the human body's pretty resilient. You know, don't take
Yeah.
stupid gambles, but still, you know.
Right. I went on this farm tour. I don't even know what I was doing there, but like I got dragged. And it was a big tour. It wasn't like a private tour. So they put you on like this trolley, I
Mhm.
guess, for lack of a better term. But it's like a streetcar, but without windows. It's literally just like seats and a bar and a roof. And they
Mm-mm.
drive you around the farm. There's this strapping 30 something farm guy who's telling you all about stuff. And I got to the point where he like we're driving past where the cows are and he starts talking about like raw milk and how great it is. And he's like, I can't legally
There
tell
it is.
you
Oh,
this,
okay.
that, or the other, but I will tell you that I've drank this stuff my whole life and I've never had a problem and I can't
Mhm.
drink processed milk or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
And at first I was like, this dude is hardcore. And then I was like, I don't even want to know what's in this guy's shit. Just-
Yeah. So my family lived in Green Bay, Wisconsin for some of the time when I was in high school. My dad was in the Navy. He was a nuke in the Navy and then did civilian nuclear power after that. So we kind of just kept moving to whatever plants like needed extra engineering help. So at that time we're in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And this is before raw milk became like a big, like the Weston A. Price Foundation thought it was cool, but they were, you know, just kind of off doing their own thing. It was not mainstream at the time. And it was so crazy because nobody was like, oh, raw milk is a coveted good. You know, there's dairy farms everywhere. It's like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, and you want to eat grass too? Like, you know, and you're going to school with all these kids who grew up on dairies and they got sick and had to take out of school sometimes. And they had autism too. And they also grew up to be juggalos. And you know, so this whole thing about like raw milk is a miracle. It could just be a reflection of where I live and where I lived at the time, but I don't think it has that same miracle reputation in actual dairy country because everyone in dairy country knows it's normal and they're like, it's not quite fully cooked yet. It's just half baked, right? And then folks who have not lived around dairy farms are like, that's what it takes to really build up that mystique of how it's magic. My mom was a pediatric nurse at a pediatric clinic in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and once a month they would get a toddler or a baby with blood in the diaper. And it only ever happened to families that were drinking out of the bulk tank. And so they'd say, oh, drinking out of the bulk tank. And the family's like, how'd you know? And you're like, this is the only people this happens to. And they would always say, well, we've always done this. I'm like, well, congrats on winning roulette 49 years out of 50. But like, you know, um, and it's his family's drinking out of their own bulk tank. If anybody is motivated to keep it clean and do it right, it's them. And it still don't work. So I don't know, like if we're talking anecdotal experience, there it is.
So I think I got you off track. So you
Oh
you
yeah, we were
ran for
talking
this
ice.
position in
Speaking of
2024
the upper
and
Midwest.
then yeah. And I made some wise ass comment about talking out of my ass about it. That doesn't sound like a very lucrative.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, you had a question. Go for it.
I didn't have a question. I just this
Because
is
you
a
are. Yeah.
really strong gin and gimlet tonic,
Aha.
whatever.
Don't worry.
How many
There's
how many
like
are
a-
you in, bud?
It has a fresh lime in it, so like
Hi, Sarah. I'm
Howdy.
Asia. Very
Hi,
happy
Asia.
to meet you. Sorry, I'm coming in late, so I was trying to be very quiet and come in on little Mikey feet.
Howdy. No, we're having after work happy hour over here. Do we want to talk about ice and the North Carolina and the Minnesota experience?
we could talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I'll talk about ice all day long. I got
Sure.
tons of shit to say about ice right now.
Yeah. I think the thing that's wildest to me, like ice came to North Carolina and then bounced back out again in pretty quick order. And actually just did another interview with someone else about that earlier today. So we already had a dry run. But the funniest thing to me is ice really has this habit, like they charge from town to town and state to state, like we're coming in to fix something crazy that's going on. And in North Carolina, it was a white woman got stabbed on the monorail. and we've got to get this situation under control. And now they're barging into another city and shooting white women in the face. And I'm just like, as a member of the white woman community.
Sarah's our representative tonight. You speak for the white women community.
Yeah, I speak for us all.
That's right. Y'all don't want me speaking for the white women community right now because I should not be speaking for us.
Oh goodness. But yeah, that was a whole thing. I think the main thing that probably led to ICE leaving North Carolina so quickly was just the fact that it's a purple state, right? And so you can alienate Republicans here, and that might be bad. It's a state you can lose. Whereas I think Minnesota may be viewed as more of a safe blue state, so you can pistol whip them with no consequences electorally. It's funny because I was hearing people say this is about election suppression, and if that were the case, they would still be here. You know?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah.
They'd be focusing on purple states. Yeah, they'd be focusing on purple states, and that's not what they're doing. I think they're looking for what they think are safe targets to pick on, which is always the sign of a badass. That's what badasses do. So I think, like, if you guys want to get into this, there's definitely some interesting stuff to talk about with boys trying to try and convince people they're tough syndrome. That's definitely a thing. And it shows up in agriculture as well. Hashtag not all farmers, but this is a thing that will pop up in agriculture. And I've some of my favorite farmers, it's a guy who grew up in a farming family, and he was saying, yeah, when they put me in charge of a field crew in like late teens, early 20s, I did not know how anything worked or how to handle myself or how to relate to people. And so I just barked a lot of orders and tried to act real tough. And then I grew up and realize that's not how you run things, and you try and be a better boss. So I think we're seeing a lot of people in that first that very insecure phase of life. And
Yeah.
A lot of this is acting out and trying to act big and bad because they don't feel that way.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Hello,
Howdy,
Matt.
we got a new guy.
Hi. Sorry I'm late.
How's it going?
The best
It's
guy.
going all right. How you doing?
Oh, you know.
I don't know why the names aren't displaying. It's a source of frustration to me that it works sometimes and
no.
it doesn't work. So
That's exciting.
Yes,
What
give
you
me a
got going
login.
on,
I'll
new guy?
Take a look at the setup.
I say, welcome, new
Just got
guy.
home from the dentist. Hopped on here. I was like, all right, let's go.
I just got home from the dentist and it's like, let me bring my gyro with me.
Look, I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to eat since lunch, so
Oh my goodness.
little
Take a
Same
chance
bro.
now.
I
feel
haven't
that.
I haven't eaten since breakfast either, so I'm with you.
That's why I get my dental appointments like as early as possible. So that way I just wake up, I have coffee, and I go there and I'm like, I just got to deal with this for an hour and a half maybe, and then I'm out.
I'd have to take PTO to do it then. That's just no.
They got you
my
numbed
PTO
I don't
out.
even, I clock into work and then I just go. I'm like, fuck this place.
So
Yeah,
to
I-
catch
I
up, Matt, we
Probably
were
people
talking
from
about
work watching right now.
Yeah.
New guy, what was your name? I don't know if I caught
I'm
it.
Matt.
Hi,
I'm
Matt. How's it going?
How you doing, guest?
So I'm Sarah.
I
How's
swear
it
we have name tags.
Sarah Tabor.
Hey, remember when there were name tags on this thing? Aja, do you remember that?
Yeah,
Back
I
when we
know.
used to
Everybody
name-
knows me though, so like I don't have to
Right.
worry about that.
I wonder if I exit and come back in, will it fix the name tags? Let me try that real fast. Y'all get all verklipped, talk amongst yourselves.
got
Sarah,
Might as
I'm
well sort of
actually
fix
a
it.
fan of
Oh my
your
gosh.
work. I've been following your YouTube channel because I am a organic gardener. I started when my little one was a toddler, and I was like, oh, I want her to wander through my garden and pick things off and eat them. And as you know, in North Carolina, about my first harvest was about 20% yield.
Mhm.
My second harvest was better. It was 30%.
Nice.
Yeah, I
You know,
didn't do
it's-
very well with
It's
organic
a work
gardening.
it's a work in progress. It's always a learning curve. Even for the professionals, like we talk about dialing it in, you know, like the first time you grow a crop, you're like, okay, and here's what didn't work. And like every year you kind of refine that. Like it's trial and error for us. Okay. Like
It was the squash vine borers.
yeah.
It was
Mhm.
the damn squash vine borers.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What? I've never heard of such a creature because I moved here from New England, and so I had never heard of such a creature, and so I happily planted all my favorites because I love squash, I love cucurbits and stuff, and so I planted all my favorites, and then watched as our watermelon and our zucchini and our cucumbers and everything went to the squash vine borer.
Yeah.
And then I learned about nematodes, and then I was a happy gardener.
Good. Yeah, we've got a situation with root knot nematode. It's like if you live in the sandy soil and you're growing a lot of veggies, you're going to get this one kind of nematode that gets your roots all kind of like thick and cankered up. And then you can't necessarily tell the plant looks fine, but it's not yielding like it should. And so it's one of those things that can really sneak by undetected. And so after every planting season, I pull some plants up and take a look at the roots, like how bad is it in this area. And I had a couple patches where it was pretty bad. And a cool thing they found out. So your conventional pesticide management. So this is what I actually went to crop school for, was like pest control in crops. So your conventional approach is you fumigate the soil with something called methyl bromide. That is the same stuff they use to fumigate houses for termites. It's the same thing they use to fumigate stuff for import at the airport and at the ports. It is super toxic, and it also destroys the ozone layer. So they're trying to phase that out, and people are like, what else are we supposed to do? Well, it turns out, if you bite into a radish and it's really spicy,
yeah,
nematodes don't like that either. So those are the compounds, they call them glucosinolates and isothionates and blah, 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 blah. So there's stuff in there. If you grow radishes and then you break them up, if you're a farm, usually plow them into the soil, but you can also just kind of like chop them up and stir them in, and they will gas the nematodes.
Oh, now that's brilliant. See, that's what I love. That's what I love about like permaculture farmers and just organic gardeners, is they come up with so many clever ways to deal with a problem. And this way isn't going to be like super mega profitable for any corporation. So corporations aren't going to invest in it. They're going to go for the cheap and easy chemical fix, which is going to wind up making everybody sick, and killing fish, and we're going to get Simpson fish with 3 eyes, and then that's why you go to the extension office, and you go to the Native Plant Society, and you go to all these organic permaculture gardeners, because they help you with coming up with better solutions than going out and buying Roundup, or there's only one thing I know of right now to kill. One of the problems I have is the invasive jasmine, what is it, Japanese jasmine?
Yeah,
Japanese honeysuckle. Japanese honeysuckle. It's killed like 10 of the trees on my property so far when I moved here, and I over the course of 5 years I eliminated most of it, but it's trying to come back. But yeah, there's only like a chemical that you can really use to kill it, besides digging it out, which I did, but holy crap, is that a big project. But yeah, like you can come up with these great solutions, and but you're not going to get that in big mega farm, big conglomerate farms and stuff. They're not going to do that kind of stuff.
So get this. So I learned how to do that at a land grant college, University of Florida. Shout out, go Gators. And so they made us take all the coursework on this. Here's how you use pesticides, but also here's all the other stuff that you can do. And you should try that other stuff first, because the price for pesticides is always going to go up, whereas DIY, you have more control over the cost of that. And so this is the thing that I think gets left out of the permaculture discussion a lot of the time. We kind of talk about it's cheaper to use chemicals. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Really not. It's not.
It might've been in the 80s, but it ain't in the 80s anymore. And so if you're a farmer who a lot of farmers kind of ask the chemical dealer and the seed dealer and the equipment dealer how to farm, right? It's kind of like, imagine if you have back pain, and instead of going to the doctor and saying, hey, do I need to change what I'm sleeping on? Maybe I need physical therapy. And then if those don't work, then we explore a pharmaceutical treatment. How about instead of going to the doctor, you just go to the pharma rep and you say, my back hurts, what do I do? They're going to sell you drugs, And I think there's a lot of folks in agriculture who kind of take that, ask the farmer rep what to do, and then they're like, how come the chemical dealer always winds up with all my money? Why are you asking the farmer rep how to farm? You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, the first guy to figure out this radish thing, actually, I think he started with broccoli. It was some strawberry farmer in California, I think. And he was just like, the nematodes are getting out of control. I have to grow something else. I just can't do it anymore. He wasn't trying to fumigate his soil, but he just grew broccoli instead. And then he tills it in. And then next time he plants, he's like, wait a minute, where'd the nematodes go? Have I landed on something? And so he starts swapping in broccoli and strawberries. And he wasn't even, I think, selling the broccoli really, or most of it. He was just doing it to fumigate the soil. And he started kind of, he wouldn't sell the broccoli because he didn't want his neighbors finding out what he was doing and then like copying it. You know?
Really?
Yeah, and broccoli's not even that spicy as in the cabbage family. And so there's a radish that I grow because we have customers for it. It's mooli radish. It's kind of like daikon, like the big white Asian radish. But mooli is from India. It's smaller and it's spicier, and so it has a lot of those compounds in it. So
now is that something that could be introduced into our gardens without being invasive, or?
Yeah, it's just a mustard. I mean, like clip it before it goes to seed, which you'll want to do anyway, or harvest it. Yeah, we haven't had issues with it getting out, but it's a really good crop for North Carolina. I was growing like radishes normally really like cooler weather, and so it can be a struggle to grow them in the South. But they're from India; they are bred for hot weather, and so they were going strong in June and July, which I did not think a radish was ever going to do. So if you can find the market to sell them, mooli radish are great. And then the ones that are too ugly to sell, you grind them up and stick them in wherever you need nematode fumigation. So works great.
So I have a question
I can always
for
send you RAM.
Do what?
My dog has a crusade against certain local plant life here, especially ivy and other. I don't know why that appeals to him, but he has made it his mission to rip it off the walls, rip it off the plants, rip it off the trees.
Good boy.
It's like I can't be mad at him for it, right? So, okay, that's when I spend his energy. I'm down for it.
Good boy. That's great. Sorry, AJ, you were saying something.
The minute he mentions Ram, my favorite dog next to my dogs, my brain instantly goes Ram, and then I forget what I was going to say. It was going to be related to. It's okay. It's okay. I'll remember in just a minute. I have ADHD, and this happens quite a lot. So just bear with me, and I will be back to what I was going to say. It was regarding. Had something to do with being in North Carolina. Yeah.
I'll tell you if you want to. I can tell you a story while you're thinking of it. So you're welcome. The place we're living right now, the last guy to live in this house, or like a couple owners ago, grew a lot of weed, and so he's putting a lot of fertilizer on the ground. And to hide it from the street, so like if the cops were coming by, they wouldn't see it. He let this vine grow called Smilax, which if you're in North Carolina, can we put a picture like in the, I don't know. Google Smilax, Smilax. If you're in North Carolina, it's this thorny vine that you'll see. It is the root that they would dig up to make sarsaparilla. It grows wild out here. It is native. And you can break off the tips when it's new in the spring and just use it like asparagus. So sometimes we cook up a big mess of that. But
it's got berries, right?
Yeah, it's got those little purple berries. A lot of things have purple berries.
Hang on, let me show you.
Yeah.
I was going to bring it up, but go ahead. There you go.
Yeah.
Smilax.
So yeah, you see that leaf shape? Like if you're in North Carolina or anywhere in the South, you've seen that one before. So this guy let the Smilax grow crazy. And because all the fertilizer from the weed was leaking out, it's normal for Smilax to be kind of like, maybe pencil thickness is a big Smilax shoot. There were a Smilax shoot coming out of the ground like as big as your thumb.
Wow.
Yeah, like half an inch around, more than that, like just big, thick, juicy stalks. So like
now we just had Tim's language.
Yeah, we just had like a monster Smilax thicket, which was great because you get nice big juicy asparagus spears in spring. But like I had to get a pickaxe out because they were taking over everything and just like dig the roots out. There was this area about probably 4 by 4 feet. I got like a 5-gallon bucket's worth of Smilax roots out of that 4 by 4 patch, which has been clean ever since. So that's been nice.
So I do remember what I was going to say is, have you always lived in North Carolina?
No, my dad was in the Navy, so we were just like all over the place. And then I did school in Utah. I went to BYU for undergrad, so that's a fun factoid. And then met my husband there. And then we moved to Florida to do grad school. He did a PhD in history. I did doctor of plant medicine. That's like veterinarian for crops. And then we moved to North Carolina.
That's
So we've
so
been
cool.
here. Thank you. Yeah, we've been here almost 10 years.
Now,
So, yeah.
I was watching. Didn't you get a job, or didn't you recently get a new job where you're like a super plant consultant or something?
Oh, I've been doing that for a while. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well,
It's
I'm actually
yeah.
I'm actually fairly new to getting introduced to your channel, so I'm
yeah.
catching up.
Yeah. I was like, I don't, can you imagine, like, you don't know my full chronology? That would be weird.
I mean, well, it would be kind of creepy if I did, but
Right? Yeah. It was like, we're not fussed. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's a job. Yeah.
I think that's an amazing job. I would kill to be able to do that. That sounds wonderful to be able to go and just like nerd out about stuff that I know tons and tons of facts about, because my neighbors all come to me and ask me about, like, gardening stuff or bird stuff, because
Yeah.
I will direct almost every conversation to birding stuff because I'm a bird watcher, and also I'm on the spectrum, so I want to talk about my thing, whatever thing that is my interest. So anyways,
Amazing.
but but the reason that I bring it up is, were you here in North Carolina during the slow food movement?
I think I would have been more in Gainesville for a lot of that. Like, I think it's still like there's still folks doing it, but like the peak of the movement, I would have been in Florida.
When I first moved here, it had just started.
Mm.
And it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen, going around from farm to farm to farm, right?
Mhm.
Getting to meet the local farmers, getting to see where, the meat was coming from, where the eggs were coming from, where all the food, getting like they signed up so many CSAs.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful movement. And I don't know, I would love to find out what killed it, but something killed it. They no
Yeah.
longer do the slow food festival every year here in Charlotte. It's a shame, because I think something like that should have been taken hold nationwide, and for people to be able to go and meet their farmers. No, I did not know that there was like a honey farm 10 minutes from my freaking house.
Mhm.
And here I was, my kid and I with allergies, and we're treating it with honey. So we went and we got our local honey from that honey farm, and this would be helpful to anyone. So I would love to see more of that.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that you had been around for it, or you had been, part of it or something, because that would have been really interesting. But you
Yeah.
weren't. But that's okay.
Alas, yeah. I mean, there's always something going on. So, like, movements like that can fizzle. Is often what happens to it. It kind of just like plays itself out, which is too bad. But the folks doing it are probably still around. I will say something that I found working in agriculture, and especially sustainable agriculture. Talking about money really freaks people out, and so it can make a movement like that hard to sustain. I'm thinking of slow money. Sorry. But so slow money kind of went along with that.
Yeah.
Because for these farms that are doing slow food and everything to keep doing it for years and years and years at a time, like I talked to my farmer friends about, like, people kind of hear farming and they think of it as like, oh, this hereditary traditional activity, and it's like it's a job. You got to bring knowledge, skills, capital, and land and customers together. Like, that's all it is. Like, you just stone soup, and for that to work and to keep working, there has to be investment, there has to be capital, you have to be focused on a market. You can't just grow a thing because you want to grow the thing. People will have to want to buy it,
Yeah.
And so if that's not hitting really consistently, then it just falls apart. And that means you have to really embrace talking about money, and that freaks people out, like, especially in sustainable agriculture, because there's really kind of this attitude that, like, money is the problem. And so this is kind of like where, like, as someone who does sustainable agriculture, this is where me and most sustainable agriculture folks kind of part ways, is they're scared of talking about money. And I'm like, let's talk about it. Because I came up as a farm worker. And like, I didn't grow up in a family that owns farmland. I grew up working on other people's farms. And so the money part to me is like really crystal clear. How are you going to pay people and be fair if you're not making money? And so to me, like, the sustainable agriculture world kind of goes like, let's get rid of the corporations, like let's get rid of chemicals, let's grow organic, and then everything else will fix itself. And I think that's actually kind of backwards. I think if you fix labor, all the other stuff is going to fix itself, because a lot of the chemical use is coming out of trying to get away from having to pay people to do things. Like we just talked about how you can use radish as a fumigant, right? Well, that means you have to grow the crop, so you have to have the time to do it. You have to have the knowledge. You have to have somebody who knows what they're doing. That could be you, the farmer. You could do your homework, or you have to, I would say, have a consultant or a trader or a coach. And they don't all work for free. Like there's extension agents, but they can only spend so much time with you. If you want someone to tell you exactly what to do on your property and your conditions and exactly when, that's a coach that you got to hire. And so switching to all those organic and sustainable regenerative methods takes more human capital, which means you have to pay more for labor. And so if you have not really squared yourself with that, I am a business that pays for labor and I have to make enough money that I can afford to do that. Labor comes first to me. And so the way it kind of gets left in the back of the truck, and I'm like, it should be driving the truck, So yeah, like that's how those things can fizzle out, is you forget to talk about the money. And then you're like, oh no, we can't keep doing it because we're out of money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this country, labor always comes last, right? And when it comes to sharing the profits, and when it comes to calculating the costs, and when it comes to all of that stuff, labor always comes last. We are not a country that focuses on the people who actually make things and create the things and do the farm work and all of that stuff. For some reason, we have hyper fixated on a bunch of wealth hoarders as being like the most successful people, and it's like no, the successful people are the ones that get up out of bed every day and get dirt under their nails, and or they work 60 hours just to make sure that server stays up, and I mean that kind of stuff. Like these are the people that really bust their asses, and that's the people that should be getting rewarded. And if that were the case, I think it would balance out to where the working class would have more money to be able to fund things like paying for good food, real food. Because right now what's happening is that we're doing it on these massive mega farms, and the price is being artificially kept low so that the profits can all be not trickled up, they can all fire hose up to the top.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and here's another thing, is it really kind of, along with the fear of talking about money, like the sustainable world really talks about, like, it's big farms that are a problem, it's the small ones that are it's big farms that are the problem, size itself is the problem, and small is the solution. And having worked with hundreds of farms, it's not that, I wish it was that simple. I've worked with some farms that are small and also, and I've worked with, hashtag not all big farms, of course, but some bigger farms, because they have that economy of scale, they have the ability to pay people well. They have the ability to invest in that human capital to do sustainability. And
but I'm sure they're not like the big conglomerates. Like,
oh no, some of them are quite large. The folks who basically invented Vidalia onions are one of those. Like they're doing good stuff. And a lot of I
lived in Georgia. I know Vidalia onions. Oh,
yeah, so
my accent.
Yeah, so Bland Farms was doing some great stuff. Actually, there was a big farm slavery bust in southern Georgia in 2021. And these are workers who were brought into the U.S. legally under an H-2A visa to be farm workers. These were not undocumented. They were brought in legally, and a bunch of people were keeping them in squalid conditions, not paying them, forcing them to work at gunpoint. And if you don't work fast enough, we're going to beat up your family back home in Mexico. If that's not slavery, I don't know what is. These are prosecuted as slavery cases. And again, these are workers who came in legally. And Bland Farms, which is like the farm that kind of kicked off the Vidalia onion thing, I worked with them while this was going on. And they had their own work crew. They didn't hire, like with H-2A crews, oftentimes instead of the farm hiring them directly, they'll rent them from basically a temp agency that does farm workers. And it was the temp agencies that were doing a lot of the slavery stuff. And Bland Farms had its own crew. They were like, we have a guy who drives to Mexico, picks up the workers, because if you have any gap, like in that whole labor chain, someone will be extorting your workers, there will be trafficking. So we don't leave any room. Like we go ourselves to Mexico, pick them up, and we drive in a chartered bus. And I was like, wow, they're really into this. They're putting a lot of work into keeping human trafficking out of their system. I didn't know this was going on in Georgia at the time. But they did. I was like, why are you doing this? They said, there's some crazy stuff going on, around us and with other contract labor crews.
Yeah.
Which tells you everybody kind of knew. And a lot of their, like, Bland is a family farm, right? They're a bigger family farm, but a lot of the corporate farms, most of the corporate farms in this country are actually family farms. The family is just large, wealthy, and has a big estate. And so a lot of the farms that were doing the slavery were small and medium-sized family farms. Bland was a larger one that had the infrastructure to build its own labor program and not do that. The whole point of human trafficking is to make cheap labor accessible to the little guy. When I was working here in North Carolina in agriculture too, I ran into a lot of small and medium-sized family farms that were all using the same age-to-wage labor contractor that had gotten in the news for international human trafficking violations, And I kind of prodded that a little bit. I was like, hey, these guys have been in the news. You heard anything about that? And they're like, what? And these are small towns where everybody knows each other's business. And yet somehow nobody knew that their favorite labor trafficker, like their favorite labor source, had some problems. And, they would say, like, wow, there's such a great local resource for little guys like us, small, medium farms who wouldn't be able to work without them. And it was an international human trafficking organization. And so when we kind of divide it into small farms good, big farms bad, that's like really just kind of Orwell, like 4 legs good, 2 legs bad stuff. So I focus more on what farms do than what they are. Like, I just want to see you behave. I don't care who you are, how big you are. I want to see you do the right thing. And it's crazy when we talk about it like that at the end.
Well, I have a question about that, though, because I was watching your recent video that was going into, the slavery thing and everything that was happening, and that, a lot of farmers weren't aware of, and that some of them were aware of. I was really riveted by that video. But would you say, like, I know that some of the biggest cooperatives, or not cooperatives, I'm sorry, the biggest conglomerates are like Cargill, Archer Daniels, ADM.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably gonna screw up the name. It's like Bunge.
Sure, yeah.
And so you say that these, small to medium farms, they work like as contractors to the huge conglomerates?
Sure.
And that's how they're getting into it. Like, so I want to be able to support, as I'm sure like people watching want to be able to support, small farmers and things like that. And also don't want to do anything to feed the beast.
Sure.
And we would like to get away from, the beast, because I mean, the monoculture and stuff like that is pretty terrible practice. So what would you say or recommend? It's like for these smaller and medium farmers, if we want to support them, like, how do we know which ones are the good guys?
So that's a tough question to answer. I'm going to say all this stuff like as a small farmer, right? Who is kind of politically not aligned with a lot of the other small farmers out there, maybe, and other like medium and large farmers. So I'm going to have a different take on it, right? I came up as a farm worker. Okay. So a lot of the folks who are spokespeople for agriculture, whether that's mainstream, conventional, or sustainable, they grew up on family operations. They grew up with family land. And so their main priority in how they see everything is, I need to preserve my family property, right? However you slice it, they were born into property, and that's going to tint how they see everything. I came up as a farm worker. So I need farms to be making money so I can get paid and I have a job. So I don't want people to fail. That would be crazy. But at the same time, you don't grow up drinking the Kool-Aid of how it's just because somebody's born into land doesn't mean they're all that, right? Sometimes that just happens to people, and so a lot of what you're going to hear about sustainable agriculture is going to come from that same viewpoint of people who have family land and they are trying to find a better way to keep it in the family, who are trying to find a better way to monetize it. That is a very different goal than building a good food system. They can coincide, but they are not the same goal. And so I'm really more focused on bringing new people in than I am on saving people just because they're there. I kind of feel like if you have dynastic ambitions, you should have the chops to back it up instead of relying on consumers to do the work for you. My feeling is, but we've really been told as consumers that it is our job to save farmers. I don't think that's appropriate. I think as a farmer, I'm a business owner. It is my job to save myself. I don't think anybody should go into poverty because they lost their farm. I think we should have a basic social safety net. But farms are businesses. Social safety nets are for people, not businesses. And I think that's part of why we're so allergic to talking about money in farms, is because as soon as we admit that it's a business, then we start to realize that, it's a different thing than like saving tradition and legacy, right? We're saving people's family property. We're saving their estate from the consequences of their own actions sometimes. And we're going to work around to it. We're going to get back there. But I think people have been told so many times it's our job to save family farmers that what I found working in agriculture with farmers was that this cultural imperative that we are given, right? This idea that it's consumers' job to save farmers was actively making farmers worse. It was actively making agriculture worse because people stopped seeing it as their job to grow things people want. They stopped seeing it as it's my job to make sure that my farm is running well. And they started learning I can just stick my hand out and expect other people to solve my problems for me. And you don't have to hand it to Reagan, but I think he was on it there. Most small family farmers in the United States today are millionaires with a six-figure income. And I'm saying this as a small family farmer who is way below that median, right? But most small family farmers in today's United States are millionaires with a six-figure income. So this isn't about poverty relief. It's not keeping people out of poverty. Helping small family farmers and medium farmers and big farmers is about keeping people with wealth and resources comfortable. And I don't think that should be a priority. I think that if a small or medium local farmer wants to be supported, it is our job to make stuff that people want and to get it into a place where they can get to it easily. Like when I was in school, I was a young mom. I was trying to go to farmers markets that were in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week. I didn't have, I only had so much time with childcare, right? So I had to get all my work done. And then I was supposed to take some of that time off and go to the farmer's market to like help other farmers like who could be getting their stuff into the grocery stores. I know it's not easy. I know that's not what we want to hear as business owners, but it is our job to meet the customers where they're at. And so I think, how do we support family farmers? As a family farmer, I think that's the wrong question to be asking. I think it is, how do we do our jobs better to where people don't have to go out of their way, don't have to build their entire life around making life easier for us. So that's probably not the answer you're looking for at all. But it's a lot more complicated than, again, like I said, it's a lot more complicated than small local farms good, big corporate farms bad. It's a lot more complex than that. And yeah, we can dig into it some more, but I don't think it's consumers' job to save farms. I don't think it's consumers' job. We've been told that because it's marketing.
Right. I have one request, and then I will shut up and stop dominating your time. I promise.
Oh, good. I like to nerd out.
As somebody who likes to watch your channel, but also as somebody who is working with some friends to try and collaborate on maybe a retirement project for all of us. We wanted to buy up some farmland and put houses together and try to cooperatively farm together. I would love to see if you or anybody else within earshot would talk about something like that, because I've been hearing from a lot of people who are talking about like kind of getting out of the rat race and gathering friends together and going in on it. And I did some research on it, learning about how you can actually form a contract with a bunch of other people and go into it and get like farmland together and make your own cooperative. And so I would love to see somebody that actually did some in-depth on that or gave us some information.
Yeah. So I'm actually recording some videos like this week, and one of them this week was about how there used to be a career ladder in the US into farming, so you could build up savings and experience, and that's why there used to be new farmers and there kind of aren't anymore, and why like we're just not making new farmers. That's why there aren't any. And part of one of the things I really lean onto that is agriculture is a real job, right? So I kind of tell people like, you know, again, as someone who didn't grow up on a family farm, like I had to take the time to learn the trade, and even as a professional, I'm learning new stuff every day. Like that is it's just part of it. But I kind of tell people, remember, agriculture is a real job. It's not a retirement; it's a real job. And again, this is why I keep telling people farming is a business. Think about getting into farming the same way you would think of getting into dentistry. You want to open a dental practice. You don't just open one with your friends and go nuts with a drill. Like you got to go to dental school, you know?
Oh yeah, no. And that's why I'm asking is that's why we haven't just run out and bought land and said, oh, heck with it, we're going to do it. No, we've been researching this for over a year.
Yeah.
And like really, like some of us have been taking courses and stuff like that. Like this is not something willy-nilly kind of thing. And when I say retirement, it's more of a like, okay, like second stage of life, what we're going to do. Like a lot of people have been kicked out of their tech jobs and stuff like that, and you know have been really interested in doing this one thing that they really love doing on the side, like as their hobby. They really wanted to do that instead, but they never thought that they could do it because they didn't have the money, they didn't have the knowledge and all that stuff. And they're like, well, now I have time to find the knowledge, and my friends are going to collaborate with me to help me with the money and, you know, and labor. So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say the number one thing to keep in mind is if you're trying to make money at it, you're a business. Like I keep saying this over and over again because people keep forgetting. Grow stuff that other people want, because a lot of people get into it. They're like, I want to keep bees. I want to grow this, that, and the other thing. Well, it doesn't matter, because what matters is, do people want to buy it? Do the people want to buy it from you at a price that you can manage?
Right.
So like have that be if you're trying to make it a business, if you're trying to sell stuff, make sure that you're focused on what other people want, not what you want. So I keep telling people like gardening is good for your mental health. Farming is a job. It stops being good for your mental health once you're trying to like work for other people. It just is.
I don't know. Goats and ducks are kind of great to have around though.
Well, that's the thing. There's not a whole lot of market for goats unless you're down to kill them and clean them yourself. And then you have to do an inspected plant. So again, it stops being fun for your mental health once you're doing it as a business. It's a job. So like there's that. Like if you were trying to make money, it has to be a business first, and it stops being fun. You know, like it's kind of like software. You're gonna like your buddies at work, but you're not. Nobody's coding at work for kicks and giggles. You can code at home for fun. You can
Speak
garden
for
at home
yourself,
for fun.
lady.
Oh,
You're talking to two coders right here.
Nobody documents the code for fun at home. Like, you know, there's a difference between coding for your own project and there's coding because someone else needs something. Right?
Oh, this is very, very true. Yeah, you know, they get the crappy code. We keep the good code for ourselves.
That's the difference we're talking about, right? So the other big thing you want to look out for is growing a bunch of different things require different types of equipment. Because especially in sustainable agriculture, we talk so much about how you have to diversify. You have to grow a bunch of different things. And that is true. You don't want to be leaning on just one thing. But what that can get you into is you're growing a bunch of different things that all require their own suite of equipment. There's not a lot of overlap. So my favorite one is people are like, I want to grow some vegetables, some chickens, and some bees. Well, all of those have separate kinds of equipment they need. Like bee equipment, you don't use for anything else. A chicken coop, that's basically good for chickens, maybe ducks. You can't really even spread out to geese because they need different sizes. Yes.
Did you say bee as in stinging insect, or bean like the thing that you plant in the ground?
You like the bug.
We like the bugs.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So like an apiary.
Yeah. So apiary equipment, smokers, that stuff does not really, you can't double purpose it for something else. Whereas vegetables, I grow vegetables. So like, of course I'm like, vegetables are perfect. If you're growing vegetables, a lot of your equipment, you can multi-purpose for a lot of different things. Peppers, beans, berries, you can get one suite of equipment and have a full season's worth of product to come out of it. And so if you're trying to make a living, veggies also just make more per square foot than just about anything else. And so I'm telling people, if you're trying to get started in agriculture, and again, like this is just what I do. So I'm like, this is what I think everybody should do. But vegetables are a really good start. If you start with chickens and ducks and, and tree fruit and bees, that's a different suite of equipment for everything. And so you're paying like the full price on equipment for everything, and you're not getting a lot of return for each of those things. So do things that have complementary equipment, if that makes any sense. Like if you're a big acre farmer who's going to grow grain, grow different kinds of grain, but maybe don't do grain and peaches and bees. Like that's going to get you spread out on a lot of different kinds of equipment. Whereas multi-purposing the same thing is a lot more, that's just going to help out a lot more. So that's a big one. Also try and make sure that you don't have a bunch of things that need work at the same time. You want to have like a steady stream. And some of that just takes trial and error because it depends on where you are. Like, you can't just say this thing ripens in August because it depends on what part of the country you're in. But try and have as much as you can, like plan it out to have a steady stream of work as opposed to like one or two big pops of labor at the same time. I can tell you a quick story about that if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Yes.
So once upon a time, I was working with a bunch of apple orchards up in Michigan, and kind of like, here's Michigan, kind of like here. Mm-hmm. So they call that area the Ridge.
Like north of Detroit?
Kind of. I might have it kind of like by Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wait, your camera's backwards.
See, there it is. This is why we have the thumb out here.
The second time when you did, I caught it. I was like, oh wait a minute, the fucking camera. Okay.
Yeah. So kind of by Grand Rapids, and they call this area the Ridge. So if there's anybody from the Ridge listening today, I'm sorry. We're about to get into it.
My ex-wife is from the UP, so I hate the entire fucking state, and I hate all Michigan teams. Fuck the Wolverines.
Understandable.
He does.
I do say like Eminem, we're cool. I don't want no beef with Eminem. But anyway, I'm sorry. You were saying. Fuck Detroit.
My family's from Green Bay, Wisconsin, so I'm heading to Minnesota shortly. And I'm like, sorry guys, I'm going to Viking country. I had to for work. I didn't want to, but here we are. But anyway, so the Ridge, they call it the Ridge because it's got a little bit of elevation. A lot of lower Michigan can be kind of flat. So it's got a little elevation, which means cold air kind of drains off of it. So everybody's like, it's a great place to grow fruit trees. It's a great place to grow fruit trees. What everybody says is it's a great place to grow apples. It's a great place to grow all kinds of fruit trees. But for whatever reason, the farmers in that area, like just all landed on apples. Like they're all growing apples all the time and kind of similar varieties. That was a decade ago, so they may have branched out since then. But everybody's grown apples in this area that's great for growing all fruit trees in general, like all fruits and veggies in general. They have just laser honed in on apples. And I can't speak to the social dynamic that led to this, but the economic dynamic that it led to was everybody's trying to hire labor at the same time. Right? So the thing about migrant labor is migrant workers tend to travel up and down the coast. There's like the California to, Washington pipeline, and as the harvest goes, you kind of trek up there and then you kind of trek back down to the south. And the East Coast, you get the same thing. You go from like the oranges in Florida up to blueberries in Georgia, blueberries in North Carolina, like apples in upstate New York, maybe up to New England, and then you kind of work your way back down. There's streams on the East and West Coast. That's where most of the people who pick fruit and vegetables are going to be. They're in Michigan. And so everyone needs people at the same exact time. There's like a 6 to 8 week period in the fall. That's it. So say you have 100 acres. You could plant it so you have, you got like a 3-4 month growing season. You could have it so you have something ripening every single week. And so you have 100 acres, say 10 tons of fruit per each. So you can have 10, hang on. It's hard to do math on the spot. So you have like several tons, right? 100 acres times 10 tons a piece, that's 1,000 tons. You have 1,000 tons of fruit coming off of that. If you planted in things that ripen in sequence, you could be picking a couple tons, a few tons per week. You can do that with 2 or 3 workers. Hired over 3 to 4 months. But if you're doing apples, You know, all that stuff has to be harvested in 6 to 8 weeks. You know, so you need much more people all at once, right? Your labor demand is the same, but it's compressed into a much smaller season. So this area is trying to hire hundreds, thousands of people all at the same time, and they're really far away from where people like actually travel for work. And so you have to find a way to attract people to drive that far out, miss a couple of days of work, stay in your place for 8 weeks, and then leave again. It was incredibly difficult. Like the labor competition was tough. The prices they had to pay for labor were quite high. And so I learned when I go meet a new farmer, we start with, how's it going? How's the labor situation? And they complain. And then we bond, you know, because they knew that I understood their struggle. And then I went a couple hours north. I had a couple more farms to visit. So like instead of here, we're like here, like up around here, like kind of more around Traverse City. And the first farmer I meet up with, I'm just like, how's the labor situation going? Is it just so bad? And they're like, the what? No, it's fine. And I was like, hold on, this is a record scratch moment. And so I asked him, like, what do you mean? So turns out what these folks up north were doing, instead of everybody was growing the same thing like they were down in the ridge, what the folks up by Traverse City were doing was they had blueberries that opened up, like they ripened kind of first thing in the spring. And then they had cherries and peaches and nectarines and apples and pears. So they had a full season of harvest work. And so instead of having to harvest it all at once in the fall, so it's a very temporary job, they could hire maybe 5 people and then keep them for the whole season. So you don't have to hire as many people. It's a better job, so it's easier to hire people. And so that was the difference between, you know, the ridge where everybody's like screaming and crying, you know, like they were not having a good time with their labor situation because they were all growing the same thing, versus a couple hours north. You'd think it'd be harder to farm up there because it's colder. And yet they're having a much better time because they spread their workload out. That was a very long-winded story. But that's one of those things where working in agriculture kind of exposes you to a lot of different approaches and you learn some stuff. You know, like if I wanted to pick which one of these guys I'm going to be, second kind. So if you're starting to farm, try that.
All right.
Yeah. Really long-winded. Sorry about that. But
no,
it was good.
By any chance,
thank you.
By any chance, and I realize this is a long shot, but maybe you can help me out. Do you make mead?
Me or Asia?
You.
I
don't think Asia makes mead.
But no, I drink mead.
Yeah.
Consumer, not a supplier.
Yeah. I don't really do bees. I had a job doing like with a honeybee research lab.
Doobie doo.
Sorry, science on the bees. It was during colony collapse, and they just needed people to like help them count mites and stuff, and like process sample bees and all that stuff. So we were also doing some beekeeping, and I think I had my fill. I was like, been there, done that. And so if I need something that's going to give me sugar, I just grow sorghum and kind of boil the sap down. That's what I do. There's a lot of ways to get, like, if you want to grow something sweet on your farm, depends on where you are. Honey might be the best approach. It might be some other plant. You just don't know. So be open to that. Be open to other possibilities. But long story short, no, I don't do bees or mead. Sorry.
Damn it.
I know.
I knew a couple when I lived in Georgia, but when I moved away, I lost contact. And North Carolina's liquor stores suck. They're all like state run, so like it's government employees, and they have some sort of weird system where it has to be on like an approved list, and then maybe they get it, maybe they don't. I don't think they have meat on there at all.
Yeah.
They're trying to do the state store here.
They're doing their best to keep.
Yeah, but you don't live in Indiana. This is a weird
Bible in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Somebody answered your question, Tim. They said that the Tesnati River Meadery in Cleveland, Georgia makes good mead. Small business, but maybe MAGA.
And okay, first of all, I'm not buying MAGA mead. Like that, it probably just tastes like regret and 50 depends. And second of all, I don't live in Georgia. I appreciate the answer and the response and the heads up, but that doesn't. If it's near me, where like maybe I have to go get it, I don't know, because fucking North Carolina is weird as fuck with their
I'll
booze.
find you some mead, boss. Oh my
But
god.
mostly, I just want to support like progressive businesses. Liberal mead, I feel probably tastes better than MAGA mead.
The mega mead has like a bouquet of scapegoating and regret.
Yeah,
It's
and I don't
all
need
grievance.
I don't need
It's
the
all
taste of
grievance and
goats
hate.
in my mouth, unless
Or do you?
Yeah. You want a funny story? Back when I was running for office, if they don't have dirt on you, they just start making stuff up. And it's really creative. It's really fun. So something that was circulating was like, there's a video of me like lighting up a big fat blunt in somebody's backyard, and they're like, "She does the marijuana," and it kind of backfired. Some people thought it was really awesome. Here's the thing: it wasn't me. I have no idea who that was, so now I have to tell a bunch of nice, honest hippies, "I'm sorry, that wasn't even me."
I'm sorry. We can't 420, dude. I'm sorry. No, I don't partake.
It's like, I support your right, but it wasn't for me. That's okay.
MAGA mead tastes like boot leather.
That's right.
Okay, that's pretty good. I like
That's
yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
Wow. It's like bad times.
Bullseye.
If ever I entertain the idea of trying to run for anything, just running to get on my local HOA board, could assuage such novel ideas that would be a fun and engaging thing to do. I like just running for an HOA, just an HOA. There's no money packs are behind it or anything. I had threatening letters delivered to my house. I had a campaign that was trying to convince voters that I was not a legal resident here.
What?
Yeah. It's like, we're not talking about a real elected office. We're talking about a local HOA. And I was just like, if this is what you run into around here for an HOA, running for anything of merit is just like, no.
Yeah. I mean, running for HOA can be a good use of time. Okay, I was working with somebody who wanted to do a small farm in their backyard. They had a half-acre property, and we kind of went through all the stuff, and then we're like, and you can't because the HOA.
Yep.
All your landscaping had to be like HOA officers approved, and they were not into that kind of thing. So it was like,
oh, don't get me started. Yeah. I would love for there
You're allowed to grow things here.
Yeah.
There to be more like pollinator and native plants and stuff allowed in my HOA. And I joined my HOA and I went on a freaking campaign, and I could not get anything changed. They're the absolute worst. But do not let this man fool you. Matt is a mega HOA guy. Like, he did amazing things on his HOA that most people would be shocked and surprised by that you could even do with an HOA.
It took 12 years, though.
Look, you did it, and you deserve credit for what you did.
But how long have you been HOA president?
I think I've been HOA president for 7 of the years. I've been on the board for 13.
So, yeah. So it's not like, you squeaked by and did it one time and they're like, nah, fuck this dude. You got in.
Right.
And then you were successful enough that they're like, let's just keep voting this guy in.
Yeah. There's never been a vote cast against me after my first year as board president.
Look at that.
This guy had a terrible fucking HOA and decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to run and see what happens. And he ran and won, and then just kept getting reelected. And
didn't he disband
half the time when he's not on live stream is because he's got HOA shit and has dealt with like weird felons that are like squatting in properties and like own a Dodge Charger but can't pay their rent. And I almost got that Dodge Charger.
You did almost get the Dodge
Charger or whatever.
So close.
And has like completely rebuilt the entire area. This guy's like a fucking Roman engineer, but like in modern times and in Philadelphia, not Rome. Has rebuilt the entire like drainage system because one of the biggest issues in his apartment townhouse suburbia land in Philadelphia is like anytime it rains, the water backs up so that everybody's got like a foot of water in their house. And he's like, let's fix this, and then set about to fix it.
Literally fixed it. Something I had to spend $30,000 to fix for my property. He had his HOA pay to fix it.
Exactly. Why pay $30,000 yourself when you have the HOA pay
I didn't even know that was a thing
to fix it?
Because I didn't know. You and I weren't friends then, and I didn't know.
We have to pay pool dues to fix the drainage system. Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, you see, this area used to be farmland. It used to be have a certain amount of rainfall, a certain amount of water drained to it. They came through, 20, 25 years ago, tore out all that farmland, turned it into suburbanite housing developments. And the result has been that as they continue to build them, you're dealing with more and more roofs, less and less ground.
Mm-hmm.
There's less plants, there's less trees, there's less bushes, there's less things holding soil together. And consequently, this area now has catastrophic levels of flooding. And they
Has anyone
can't figure out
considered
why.
the irony that we're on a live stream with someone who's like a farmer and ran for like county agricultural thing that I don't know anything about. And here we are talking about Matt's HOA destroying the farmland.
No, I mean, like, that's what the ag commissioner deals with actually quite a bit, is like, okay, how do we get agriculture to survive all this development? And there are answers to that. But that was the thing, like, with this lady I was working with who wanted to do a small farm in her backyard in her HOA, and the HOA wouldn't let her. It was an ex-urban development, like kind of like it was supposed to be out of the city. Like it was very country themed, right? And so everybody has a half an acre. The whole point of moving out there is to get the slower country pace lifestyle, right? But you can't grow your own food. You're doing all the bad parts of being in the country and you don't get to grow your own food. Like, what are we doing here? It was crazy.
Absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to have chickens so I could have my own eggs in my little organic garden that I was growing in my backyard, and they wouldn't let me because they're bastards and I hate them.
Yeah. Goodness.
That sounds awesome, actually.
What, having chickens? Yes, because the chickens would have helped also with the pest problem that I was having in my garden. That's part of the reason I wanted
lived on a property that had chickens. They also had one rooster, and that rooster was a real cockbag. Pun intended.
I see what you did
and
there.
was like violent. Like it would chase me around. I would have to like there was a big garbage can of feed outside the chicken coop, which is they had the rooster ran around outside because they didn't want it getting in, obviously. And I would have to like grab the trash can lid and this wooden rod that came from like a shovel that the shovel had. But I had to like fight this fucking thing like I'm Leonidas and this is a Persian. I'm like beating it with it's like jumping at me. It's like trying to like kick me with its spurs and shit. I'm like smacking it and trying to poke it away from me. And all I wanted to do was walk past it to the mailbox. I wasn't even trying to fuck with this thing. It's just like and would run after me. It was
somewhere insane. In an alternate timeline, that is one hell of a cartoon show. Putting that out there, boss. Putting that out there.
If you know me on Facebook and you go to my profile picture, there's like a picture where I posted like I made some eggs and went out there and like took a picture of me holding the thing as the rooster's like running at me. It's like just to show him what I'm capable of.
What, eating his children?
Yeah.
You guys want to hear a food safety story about roosters?
Yes, please.
Of course.
Okay.
Does it vilify the rooster? Because I'm 100% down with that.
The roosters, believe it or not, were not the villains in this story. They were. You'll see. Okay. So and then are we taking this? Were we supposed to go until 8? Like what's the deal here? I don't want to.
Yeah, Tim.
It's whatever.
Amazing. Okay, so once upon a time, this wasn't me. This was a colleague who was doing food safety inspections, and
definitely
it was
me.
This was in the part of Miami where this kind of thing would happen, I guess. So she's going through, there's a lot of produce trade going through Miami. And so there's this produce warehouse and handling facility, cold storage, all of that stuff. And the whole time they're doing it, the folks working the place. So when you do a food safety audit, they're kind of like, here's the person who's going to take you through the facility. They're kind of an upper level employee, almost always not the owner, because the owner is busy like writing checks and playing golf. So it's an upper level employee. And so the my buddy, the food safety inspector, auditor, and the employee are just kind of like going around the facility, looking at all the stuff they got to look at. And the employee is always saying like, man, the filtration system is trash. Like the air handling system is not good. Like we're always having so many problems with the air handling. Like we're doing everything we can, blah, da, 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 da. And they kind of go through the whole facility, and there's only one place left they haven't taken a look inside. It's kind of like this one big closet. There's just like a random door kind of off to the side of the facility on one of the floors. And it's got a big old padlock on it. And my buddy, the auditor, is like, well, all right, last thing, we got to take a look in there, because you have to look at the entire facility. Even if it's not like a place where they're handling food, if there's a big nest of rodents there, they're going to be getting at everything. So you have to check out the whole place. And they're like, well, we don't have access. What do you mean you don't have access? Well, that's the landlord's area. Like, you know, that's his part of the building where he stores his stuff. I'm like, well, we can't sign you off until we've seen the whole thing. So call the guy who has access. Like, there's a padlock. Someone has the key. We got to get him here, and we got to open this thing. And there's all this back and forth. And my buddy has to like remind them, you're not getting a certificate until you let me in there. Like, do I need to spell it out for you? This is part of what you signed up for this. We got to do it, right? And they open the door, and it's just a room full of fighting cocks, just like in cages, like row on row on row. And you don't hear them because like fighting cocks are loud, because they're like very cocky roosters. They want you to know that they're the biggest guy. And then all 30 of them want you to know they're the biggest guy. It's like, you know, so very loud, but she didn't hear them because there's just all the loud machinery in the facility. They had no idea they were there. And my buddy just looks at this, and she's like, open the filters. So they go to the air handling unit, open it out, and all these feathers fall out of the air filter, because every time the roosters fight, they're kicking feathers off each other and go suck up into the air filter. And so the air handling system was spraying a fine dust of chicken dander like all over all that. And she was like, well, I think we've seen enough. We're not passing today. Tell your landlord that if he wants to keep a viable facility, he needs to put his illegal cockfighting ring somewhere else.
Oh my God.
So, you know, and like it's technically not legal in the US. So you kind of start wondering, and like you need a bunch of friends. Like, and so you kind of start going like, is this connected to organized crime? Do we need to go?
Probably, yes.
So,
Remember my cousin's a police officer out in California, and he was telling a story about one of their big issues out near Stockton was cockfighting rings, and it was because it was connected to organized crime, because it was a way for them to make a ton of money, gamble a ton of money. It's all cash coming in and out. There's no, you know, tracking for it. It's illegal business, and that would feed back into various money laundering operations. And they went out and they had vastly underestimated how big the cockfighting operation was. And
awesome.
Him and another guy were supposed to be back, like basically where the cars were, and they were kind of like the stopgap, that just in case anybody happened to go that way. What they didn't know was that the property had like hidden doors on it. There was like a barn and a couple of like warehouse buildings that had been a farm at some point. It's now like dilapidated and run down. They didn't know there was like a hidden door on that side. So the cops go in the main door on the far side of it, and all of a sudden that door opens up, and everyone and chickens and everything are running in every which direction. And he and the buddy just looking at each other like, what do we even do? So they each like grabbed one guy, just one random guy, so they could say, look, I tried, right? There was 1,000 people running out there. There's 1,000 people running at us. There was nothing else we could do. And of course, chickens everywhere. Chickens standing in the cars, chickens fighting each other, chickens hitting people. Yeah. And
you don't keep them separate from each other. They just get at it. They're like, I have one job.
It was just like, for whatever reason, I don't know if they opened them on purpose or something, but there was just animals, chickens loose, roosters rather, running loose all over the place, and then people running. And I guess people in charge figured in this chaos they would be able to get away, and they were right, because they just grabbed the first two assholes, managed to step in a gopher hole, twist his ankle, fell. So this was his one in the line of duty injury that he's had. Thankfully, that's the only one. Just called to mind that there's some crazy people who are putting this stuff together. I do not mind you thinking that you should get out of there, because damn, yeah,
it's a business. It's a living.
It is clearly a living. It is clearly a business. I don't know that it's a good business.
Yeah. Please don't put it in your food handling facility. This is all I ask. Like, so it's just like, I can only imagine if you bust up a big cockfighting ring, you have dozens, perhaps hundreds of roosters who really can't do anything else. You know, like they're not good for meat. They were too busy fighting to put on any meat on their bones.
Yeah.
And their progeny are also going to be like that too. Like, you like adopt out a retired cockfighting rooster. Like, they do not make good pets. You know?
Plus, a lot of them had, I don't know if this is common, but they had taped razor blades onto the legs as well to heighten the fight
drama
and the bloodiness and whatnot. So just to collect them was a ordeal in and of itself.
Yeah, no doubt. That sounds fun. So yeah, agriculture has many facets.
This is why we get guests like you on here, so we get to these other facets that we often don't get to with our other guests in other fields.
Yeah. So in conclusion, farm labor, good. Sustainability is huge, and the big missing component is labor. Yeah. So like the big thing I'm trying to do right now is just kind of like get more of an eye on that, right? Because we have folks like we're going to talk about ICE. Okay, so this is where ICE ties into farm labor, and then we can like get you all done. Everybody's really focused on how ICE is running around occupying cities, right? And the one thing I hear people saying over and over again is, how can they just be deporting all the undocumented immigrants? Don't people know that the farms are going to stop working? Nope. So the reason they're doing this now is because H-2A has grown enough as a business. Like there's enough H-2A labor contracting companies to now, like the GOP and the farm sector believes that they can fully switch over to H-2A. That's why they feel safe doing that now. And H-2A and renting out H-2A workers became a business in North Carolina. Like this is the epicenter here in North Carolina. Because there is a guy who got caught trafficking weed from Mexico and just like went to jail one too many times, and he decided, I need to traffic something from Mexico that's going to get me in less trouble. So
Mexicans.
Yeah, like that was really his solution. Is like, I need a thing I can sell from Mexico that's going to get me in less trouble. So that's
I'm bad at smuggling things because I keep getting caught. I should get something that's larger and louder and can talk to the police.
Yeah, well, something that you can terrify into lying to the police, which you cannot do to bales of weed. So
bales of weed always tell the truth to the cops.
Yeah, they know where they've been.
They are such narcs.
Yeah, and so like, and the H-2A process is legal. He just figured out, if I can do just enough paperwork to get these people in legally, then I can kind of rent them out. And to be clear, like a temp agency for H-2 workers could be normal and fine. It could just be a temp agency for workers. It could be totally fine. But there's so little enforcement of working conditions that you can just do a slavery and it's going to be fine. A bunch of people had the ring that got finally caught in South Georgia. It took years, and they did $200 million worth of business. They made $200 million enslaving people. So you can see why folks might find it attractive and why the business is spreading so fast, right? So the H-2A business, which is very underregulated, has grown enough to where folks feel like they don't really necessarily need undocumented workers anymore. And so let's get them out of this country so that we can switch over to H-2A. H-2A workers are legally bound to you. They can't leave if the job stinks. That's part of the appeal. H-2A labor is not cheap. That's the thing they're working on, is taking the wage down in the H-2A program.
Of course.
The fact that there's a minimum wage that's designed to not reduce wages in your area, that's a thing like the farm sector has not liked very much. They've been very loudly agitating against that. Trump just dropped the minimum wage. And also, after the 2021 South Georgia bust, there were some anti-slavery provisions put into the H-2A program. Trump appealed those last June. So the anti-slavery protections are gone. We have dropped the minimum wage, and now we're getting rid of undocumented workers so we can fully switch over to a very loosey-goosey H-2A program. That's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm seeing in the news, there's all this fuss and drama about like, oh, this is happening in our cities. We're being occupied by paramilitary. This is why. This grew out of agriculture. And so we have this habit of looking at agriculture as this traditional thing of the past. It is a very modern, constantly evolving piece of good old boy business that is happening right now. It is totally modern. Right? It is kind of on the cutting edge of politics. It is driving our national politics in ways that nobody is saying, because we keep thinking of agriculture as the traditional thing. It is, in fact, the bleeding edge of what is going on in the United States right now. And it evolved in North Carolina because we elect our commissioner of labor and our commissioner of agriculture. So labor is in charge of enforcing, labor protections in the state. Agriculture is in charge of working with farm employers on how to do this properly. Democratic voters in North Carolina, especially the ones in the suburbs around Raleigh, have a persistent habit of voting for Democrat all the way up and down the ballot, except for agriculture and except for labor.
Really?
Yes. It's only around Wake County too for these two seats. Charlotte doesn't do that. It is specifically Wake County around Raleigh.
That's so weird.
Yeah, we've had the same Republican Commissioner of Agriculture for 20 years. The people keeping him in power is not rural voters. There's not enough of them to do that. The people keeping this Republican Commissioner of Agriculture in power is the Democratic voters around Wake County. And it's kind of difficult to talk about in a way that doesn't sound like, wow, she's just mad because she lost. But like people, this guy's been here for 20 years. He has been assisting this business to grow. Our commissioner of labor has been helping this business grow. There is a reason this happened in North Carolina. It's because folks in this state, even Democrats, think Republicans are better at business, are better at agriculture.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I really hope we can have a moment with ourselves where we really stop and think, do we really believe Republicans are better at agriculture? Because look how it's going. But that is why Democratic voters in Raleigh, North Carolina, have been voting Republican for these two seats. And there have been huge national level consequences. And so, in North Carolina, we had folks coming out in the streets like, get ICE, get out of our town, get out of our state. And I'm like, I'm loving the passion. I hear you. How have you been voting for the last 20 years?
Right.
And I know that when we talk about resistance, and preventing a fascist takeover, we're looking for drama, right? We're expecting big dramatic moments and confrontations. That is not how most of this happens. Most of this happens because people spent 20 years voting this way, right? Yeah. That is where the power has been lying, and we have not been using it. And so if there's anything we can take out of this current time, like, yes, there's resistance we need to do in the moment. Yeah, there's some stuff happening right now. But I want you to imagine that you're walking into one of those ICE-run dungeons right now, and you can tell people, yeah, I rolled out in the street now that this is happening, and it's too late because you're already here. But I didn't think it was worth my time to look at how I was voting for the last 20 years. And next time the voting comes around, well, I just don't feel like it's going to make enough of an immediate change. So I'm going to keep doing that, or I'm going to sit home. And I just want you to sit and imagine telling somebody that who's stuck in the claws of this. And, sit with that. It's like we're always looking for big dramatic confrontations because that's what's exciting. That's what gets on the news. But the real power is in, like giant dunes of sand. The way they move is one grain at a time. And they can travel a long ways, and so I just really want people to think that way. The way big systematic change happens, it's going to feel like nothing, all at once. So if you think about it that way, we're right on schedule.
Well, we've had a couple posts up on the Facebook side. I think that's where Admin B put them. I'm talking about the consequences of voting and the incremental power shift towards more and more Republican policies a bit at a time because their voters are more patient than ours, that they're willing to vote for people that even if they're terrible people, as long as they get, this piece of policy and then that piece of policy and then this judge and then that commissioner. And then it's just, we're just at the point where it's all kind of really added up. As your creeping bureaucratic fascism. And now we're kind of at the water break moment of it, and there's still people going like, no, I don't think it's that bad. Both parties exactly the same. Everything's the same. No vote.
No.
Yeah.
The DNC didn't allow my perfect princess to get through this particular primary in this state. Therefore, I will never vote again. And Donald Trump thanks you for your idiocy.
Yeah, the way I look at it is, no party is ever going to be exactly what you want. That's not how politics work. I think consumerism has trained us to say, this is the product I want, and I'm going to give my money to the people who make the product I want. And if it's not that, I'm not going to buy it. That's consumerism. That's not how politics. Politics are a whole different thing. And so I tell people, like, look, if I want to bang in a nail into a piece of wood and I have a screwdriver and a wrench, what I want is a hammer, but it's not here. Well, you're going to do a lot better banging the hammer in with a wrench than you are with a screwdriver, so that's good enough, you know. And you make do with what you've got and you build on that. I also look back to, because we're here in the South, I look back to the time of Jim Crow, when Black people in the U.S. still had to live, right? And, you know, imagine being Black in 1900, 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940. I don't think there was going to be a lot of light at the end of the tunnel at that particular time. You're in the depths of Jim Crow, and it's going to be a generation and maybe a half until it's over. And yet people still did stuff about it. I can't imagine that everybody was doing full-time, full blast activism all the time. But as a whole, people didn't give up, right? And it can be really easy to feel like we're in the darkest timeline right now because things have taken a downward turn pretty quickly within very recent memory, right? And that can lead people to going, this is unprecedented. We've never been here before. We don't know what to do. Nonsense. We have absolutely been here before. And if you look at how the U.S. has been historically, when Jim Crow came upon the South, when Jim Crow was imposed upon the South, nobody really fought back. No white folks really fought back. I'm not saying nobody. White folks did not fight back. North or South, there was just the willingness to fight this stuff was gone. Like even the folks who just fought the Civil War from the North were just kind of like, okay, whatever, you know, we're done. That didn't happen in this time. You know, when they rolled out Jim Crow, it was just kind of like a big wet, okay, nothing. There was not a whole lot of opposition from white America. This time has been very, very different from that. So I don't want to say like, oh, actually things are fine. We're doing great. But if you look at the many times that oppression is rolled out in the United States before, there's a lot more pushback than there's ever been. We are doing a lot better than we have ever done. Take that for what it is. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean we're good. It doesn't mean like we can, you know, we can clock out, but kind of acknowledge that we've come some ways here and we are building on, like, we have a lot more of a mass movement than we have ever had before. So I think we have good reason to expect it will not turn out like it did before either.
I agree. Yeah.
I have heard it said that fascism is an unnatural state and cannot survive. It's not self-sustaining. And people want to be free. And once they have freedom, they don't want to give it up. I realize that's very difficult to swallow right now with everything that's going on. But you consider how many people are outraged. And it isn't just the left. I realize that there's a lot of pushback on social media, but a lot of these are bot accounts. They're conservative outlets. Tucker Carlson, for fuck's sake, is pushing back on it and saying this was murder. Mm-hmm. Fox News has got people on camera who aren't giving them the narrative that they want, and they're just like, oh, okay, well, fuck it, let's go. This is what we got.
And it's been delightful to watch finally.
Yeah, it is, because it's like, you can't lie about this now. What are you gonna do? Like,
right.
So I'm not saying that we're winning. I'm saying that we're not losing. And mm-hmm. There is a difference there. We'll be winning when this fucking regime is gone. I do have to wrap up the stream. I have a removal coalition. We have our Tuesday night Zoom calls. So this is going to be where we call it. Our next live stream, if we can keep him out of jail, is going to be Roddy Road Steamer.
Yes.
He got arrested. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
By ICE, and was very quickly released, because what are you gonna do with a dude who like wears a speaker around his neck and dresses in a giraffe costume? Anyway, Roddy will be on our live stream Tuesday, the usual time. And after that, I'm not really sure. I have a schedule, but I think we had a cancellation, and it's Janet can square me away with. Janet's in the comments somewhere, probably.
Jen will figure it out.
Yeah. Sarah, I want to thank you for giving us your time tonight. This was a welcome diversion from the stream of political candidates that we've had. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but
we're just not running right now, so it's like different.
Yeah. I guess technically it counts.
Everybody in the
You were
in
at
the
one
chat
time,
were
and will
thanking
probably
you.
run again.
Candidate emeritus. Yeah.
There you go.
It's like,
Run
it's
again.
That's gonna be our stream.
I'll volunteer for you. You run again.
that's so much nicer than, well, you didn't make it last time. Candidate emeritus. Amazing. Well, this has been fun, you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Thank
like
you so much.
has
And
been.
everybody in the chat was saying thank you so much for the discussion. It took them away from some really dark places. So people were very happy that we were talking about something a little lighter tonight.
yeah, radish smoothie burns so good it can solve a lot more problems than you think.
Ugh, I cannot stand radishes, so no.
Yeah, don't eat it. Put it on the dirt. It'll be good for the dirt. I don't know about us.
I have started putting radishes on my tacos.
Hmm.
Very good.
Okay, you cannot live in the South anymore. Get out.
Go into a
Thank you,
Mexican
guys.
restaurant and they don't put radishes on the side for you to put on your tacos, then it's not real.
Now
Really?
we
That's all
know.
there is to it. Yep, really.
Have a good night,
That's gonna be our
everybody.
stream for tonight. If anybody out there makes mead, I'm in the market. Check out the static socials that we have: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads. I just posted some stuff about an ICE agent who has a felony, a long list of felonies.
No way.
Also, the story about the woman who infiltrated ICE just by literally applying, and they didn't even Google who she was. And if you do Google her
Oh my
name, you'll
God,
see
awesome.
exactly who she is. Like, literally just get on Google and type in her name, and it automatically pops up with, why would you hire this person to work for ICE? Anyway,
Good for
I'm
her.
thinking about applying to ICE just to see if I can get in the door, because they know who I am. I show up to a protest in Rocky Mountain, I'm like, Big Sarge, we're not going to let you in. Literally what the guy said was, Big Sarge, I can't let you in.
Yep.
Get that 50K
You can call me
bonus.
by any other name. Straight up call it. I mean, and I'm, it's not like I'm fucking not obvious to who I am. Anyway, I'm thinking about applying to ICE just to see if I can get in. And then I don't know what I'll do from there, but probably we'll go in and be like fucking Gomer Pyle and be like, where do you want me to go, Sergeant?
We're going where now? Hang on a second. Let me tell everybody on my Instagram where we're going.
Yeah, it would be hilarious if suddenly everybody on the left was like, let's apply and see what happens. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, we can't go out there today. It's
They do need more people. You know what? Yeah, make them spend money on vetting people, because they're obviously not doing that right now.
Yeah,
but
they're
like,
not doing it at all.
True.
clog up the works, guys.
this
You heard it here
this
first.
dude, the guy that I posted, has multiple felonies, and they're not like, oh, he forged a badge. It's like literally like malicious violent assault type of stuff.
my
Grand
God.
larceny. Yeah,
You'd figure that would be top of his class then.
Yeah, he's perfect ICE material.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
right.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly
Sounds
what
like a
they're
proud
looking
boy to me.
Mm-mm-mm.
for.
Yeah.
Well, on that
Sergeant,
note,
place
Yes,
to go.
the show is recorded. You can just go to the YouTube and click on it and watch the whole thing in its entirety, or you can skip around or whatever floats your boat. All of our live streams are live, but also recorded and posted as soon as the stream is done. On that note, that's our time for tonight. Sarah, thank you for joining us, and
have a good night, guys. Thanks
we'll
for having
see
me.
you on the
Good night.
internet.
Thank you, Sarah. Good
Good
night.
night,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Two
Bye.
claps and a
And
Rick.
Woo!